We may have been down two, or I'd have to look exactly what, and had a beautiful backdoor cut, Dre did, and went up to dunk the ball. Of course, it felt like he got fouled, but, maybe he didn't. And then, of course, it goes right down to the other end, and they hit a three-pointer and a foul. Ends up being what we thought was a 6-point swing. I thought that was a big momentum break. Offensive foul on Felipe in the late in the first half on still not sure what it was, when he had the basketball. But anyway, that, of course, we take him out. They make a 5-0 run right there at the end. So you have to give them credit. I thought especially Owen White really came and hit some huge shots, and he's been doing that, I think, not just today, but he hit some big shots, 8 of 17. He's 5-11 from the three, and all of them seem to be big baskets. And but I can't be any more proud of a team and thankful personally on behalf of myself, our staff, and our guys. They just, like I said, they have been they're a pleasure to coach. We still have some basketball left, of course, and look forward to playing in the NIT. And but it was South Alabama made the plays when they needed to in the second half, and our guys are hurt, crushed, to be honest with you right now, because our goal was to get to the NCAA tournament. But we do have some basketball left in front of us, and they'll respond the right way, and especially these two. I'm sandwiched by two great guys right here, and they'll help get our team ready to play. They're not ready to quit playing.
Coach, Hunter Dawkins, the Gazebo Gazette. How do you turn this game and try to make things work in the NIT preparation? What do you guys do? What do you work on? What's the improvement areas that you need to work on? Just the basics.
Well, our team's been amazingly consistent. I thought, of course, I don't have the value of watching the film. Game was very physical out there tonight, and I didn't think we did a great job of getting the ball into transition. We're usually at our best in transition, and we didn't get into transition or getting into our flow offense. I didn't think enough. I thought we were relying too much on sets and individual play. We live on moving the basketball and moving our people, and I didn't think we did a good job. And any time that you're talking about offensive execution, that sits on the head coach. So that was my fault, and I didn't do a good enough job of making sure we did that tonight.
Go ahead, Craig.
Craig Stevenson, AL.com. Coach, you mentioned record-wise there's a disparity between you guys in the South, and it seems, is there anything in particular that they do defensively, offensively that gives you guys trouble?
Well, sure. Gosh, I wish I knew, Craig. But they just got a good team. I think against South, one of the things that we felt like we need to do is get out ahead of them, because they do such a they found. I think they found a great style for them. Don't play a ton of players, but they've. I think as the season has gone on, Richie has done a great job of those guys kind of finding their roles and playing together, if that makes sense to you. And I think that's gotten better and better. And like I said, to start with, it's amazing to me that they came in 8th. And, of course, I've been a huge proponent. This is our first year in the Sun Belt, and I've said from day one how much respect and how much I admired our league and our coaches and the players in our league. And I think we have a great basketball product, and I hope the powers that be will continue to promote our basketball, because I think that we are a 2 or 3 bid league, in my opinion. And of course, we came from Conference USA, so I can talk about a comparison to other leagues. But they just do a good job of knowing where their bread's buttered. And of course, if you over rotate on more, and you have a guy like White. That can step up out there and make hit some critical shots, and I thought they did a good job of. And when we overcommitted or to going to stop him inside, he did a great job, and they did a great job of finding their shooters, and it just seemed to come at a critical time. So you got to give them credit.
Andrew Abney, Pineville Sports. Jay, that big run towards the end. I mean, is that kind of what you just allude to? Is it just everything kind of worked in South Alabama's favor? And at one point they made 9 straight, and you guys missed 9 straight.
I wasn't even, of course, like I said, I haven't had a chance to really look at the statistics much. Of course, not even having a chance to look at them, but it did. There was that one stretch that certainly was the difference in the game. And You have to give those guys credit for making plays. But again, I want to focus. Of course, I've given South Alabama credit, and like I said, Richie's a great friend, and best luck to them. I hope they go win it. They're playing really, really well right now. But our guys, and again, even though that they were given a tough break with losing Nefta Alvarez, during practice this week. Of course, we were hoping and praying even up to the game tonight he was going to be able to go. Our training staff did a great job of trying to get him ready, but he just with the type of injury that he had, that they just our guys battled, Andrew, and they were ready to play and played hard, but we just didn't play well enough. And the big stat that sticks out to me was points off turnovers. I thought we turned the ball over too much and uncharacteristically turned it over too much. And, of course, the start of the second half, I think we turned it over 3 of the first 4 possessions, didn't get a shot. And it was important for us to kind of course, we were up at the half, but they had kind of closed the gap. I think we were up 27-21 when he got his second foul. They ended up on a 5-0 run. And then, of course, going into the half and then start of the second half, we turned it over a couple of times carelessly and allowed them to kind of get going. And I think in kind of going back to what Craig said, I think you have to South Alabama, I think, does a great job of playing with a lead. They spread the floor out, and Moore's does such a good job of kind of backing your guards down in there. And, again, when we would go overcommit to help, that seemed like they made us pay. And during that stretch you're talking about, of course, I didn't realize it was 9 for 9, but I knew it was pretty significant.
Do you have any update on Naftali and what happened?
Same. The X-ray, it happened during practice, during the middle of the week. Of course, the first thing, because he had for those of you that don't know, he had a Jones fracture last year while he was at Mercer. It took him a while to get going this year to be cleared. Then he got cleared. He started the season. We played at Vanderbilt. The next game, I think we had a non-D1. And early in that game, he aggravated it again. And, of course, he missed 16 or 17 games at that point. Was finally cleared to come back. Has played great. Was really, really good last game. And then during practice this week, same thing. But the X-ray was, the doctor said it looked great. So no structural damage. But he's got a screw in his leg in his foot about that long. So if in the way the doctor explained it to me, he said if you can imagine somebody taking a screw, and he said if he just moves it, awkwardly one way or the other, and of course Neff's quick and strong, and he's got a lot of torque down on his foot. He said it's like taking that screw and screwing it into, if you can imagine what it feels like about screwing that into your muscle. And he said that's what caused this problem. So we were thankful that it wasn't worse than it was. And of course we're anxious that when the season is over with, he'll get a doctor back in there and reevaluate getting the screw out.
Paul?
Coach Paul Chestnut, Fox Sports radio offensive caller. Just want to get your thoughts. Your first year at Sunbelt. Just your thoughts.
Yes, sir.
Competing first year at Sunbelt.
I've been very impressed, and I think it was a great move for Southern Miss. Have said that from day one. The powers that be at Southern Miss that made that decision for us to move into the Sun Belt. Of course, y'all saw our crowd here today. That happens in all of our sports, so we're excited about it. Disappointed that we let them down, to be honest with you. I think none of our guys feel the same way, that we feel like we let our fan base down some today by not winning. But that's the first time, of course, when I was in Conference USA, our tournament was in Dallas, and we just didn't have, it was just very difficult. But great location for our tournament, and as I mentioned earlier, I've always, because of where my career has led me, I've always been close to a lot of the Sun Belt coaches and competed against them while I was in other places at Southeastern Louisiana, of course, now at Southern Miss, and great respect for our team. And I look forward to the day, if we'll continue to promote the men's basketball programs, I look forward to us being a multi-bid league.
One out here in the front.
David Mixon, Student Press. Coach, after what happened in Mobile a couple weeks ago, coming into this game, did y'all have a different game plan for this team, or did you come in with kind of the same? We had a different defensive game plan, and I thought that it worked really well for a long time, and but there was again a stretch. I thought there were a couple of key. I'm not going to get into any, just a couple of key possessions that maybe didn't go our way for whatever reason. I'll just be
more diplomatic, and I thought it turned it kept stopping our momentum, and when we would get something good going, it would just seem like something we would foul or maybe there was an opportunity for us to get the line, we didn't get there. So just whatever it may have been. And again, I don't want to in any way say I'm taking anything away from South Alabama, but we did change the way that we were guarding them, and I thought we did a great job for the most part until they stretched it out on us, and we had to start doing some gambling. So, but Coach Juan Cardona does a great job with our defense, and he's done a great job all year, and I thought we had a good plan.
One in the back.
You mentioned the NIT, and obviously the emotion of this one is very raw right now. If that is to be your fate, how do you make sure that's celebrated, just given the history of 1987?
Well, of course, our players don't want to hear that, and I was fortunate to play on a team in '87, and it was the exact same scenario at Southern Miss. The only four-year school in the history of the state of Mississippi win a national championship is Southern Miss in 1987, and maybe that's where the Lord is intending us. Our guys are hurt and they didn't want to hear that, but I gave them that same scenario in the locker room a few minutes ago, and it was a deja vu moment for me because we were crushed when we got knocked out of the Metro Conference in '87. And of course had an NIT berth, ended up hosting Ole Miss in the start of the NIT, but our guy, after a few days, our guy said, "Hey, we're just happy to be playing basketball some more. Let's make the most of it." Of course, NIT is prestigious, and these guys love each other. And they're not ready to quit playing. So we still have a lot left to play for. I'm proud of them for winning the league. They set a school record for wins in a season. They of course won only the second outright conference championship since Southern Miss went Division I in 1971. So they've accomplished, and I'm not going to let tonight, in that one spurt where they went 9 for 9 and we went 0 for 9 to take that away. And I can't be more proud of a group of guys. Disappointed, and I hurt with them. I hurt personally. They hurt because they've worked so hard to change the direction of our program, and I'm forever indebted to them.
Last one here, Dave.
Okay, a two-part question. Ask the guys at that 33.5-minute mark. I know you guys play a lot of minutes, but were you winded a little bit? Because you guys don't come out at all. And I'll ask the coach, with the format that, South gets to play one and then a rest day.
Yeah.
Is that advantageous? Because you guys haven't played in a week.
Yeah. I don't personally like it. I think they got an advantage. And I will tell in the spring meetings, but I didn't know, I'm new guy on the block. I'm just going to go with it. And I'm not saying that because we lost, but I don't like it. I think, it goes back. I was a high school coach for a long time, and in Mississippi they had the same thing. If you won the South Mississippi Tournament, you would get about a 10-day break before you went and played in the state championship. And the coaches, the coaches of the South Mississippi champion, North Mississippi, they would just be crazy about that. So that's not fair. And the other team would get a chance to go play in the Coliseum and so forth. And that reminded me of that. And, they get a chance to play, then get a day off. So, I mean, is it really an advantage for the first team or not? It doesn't seem like it. And, of course, the other side of that is South Alabama so dang good. I've mentioned this a couple of times. We're playing, I think, one of the best teams in the league, as a number one seed. But, hey, our attitude was it didn't matter who was lining up. We got to go through them, and you have to beat them at some point anyway, right? So that's how I feel about that. I thought it's a disadvantage for the other team to be able to play a game in an arena that, of course, we've never been here at all. And this today, the first time that our guys got a chance to even shoot at all, was when we arrived for warm-ups.
Did they feel winded when South went on the run? And I know you guys played.
We've been practicing at a level 10 energy since April, so it's kind of a norm. We practice hard every single day, so when we out there, we don't really feel it. But, that's what media timeouts and dead balls are for us to catch our breath and everything.
Personally, I wasn't. We had 8 days off, which Coach managed our practices playing really well. So personally, I wasn't. It was just more of a mental letdown of how the game was going. But physically, no.
And of course, I'm looking at the minutes. Theirs were about the same. So I don't know if that was an advantage either way. I know Coach was trying to play his best guys, and we were trying to play with the guys that we thought were important for us to win. And I think sometimes we try to overanalyze things. I think you got to give South Alabama a lot of credit. It got to, as you said, the 33.5-minute mark, and which is crunch time, and they make 9 straight. So we didn't get enough stops, and they did, and they got stops and of course converted on the other end, and that was your ball game. And so I have to give South a lot of credit.